My wife, Emily, got yanked off our porch swing by HOA goons in tactical vests, and as they dragged her to a black van, she winked at me, like this was all some twisted game she'd planned. Now Karen's on my lawn, grinning like a snake, and I'm holding a letter that says my tea-sipping, tomato-growing soulmate's a freaking CIA agent. There it is, folks, the wildest curveball of my life, and we're just getting started. Drop a comment. Ever had an HOA moment that flipped your world upside down? Smash that subscribe button, because this suburban nightmare is about to go full throttle, and I need you riding shotgun. It all kicked off that Sunday morning in Willow Creek, where the biggest scandal is usually a rogue sprinkler dousing your Sunday paper. I was a mess, coffee gone tepid, sprawled on the couch, watching a hawk size up our bird feeder like it owed him money. The air hummed with lawnmowers and smug normalcy. Then screech, a black van slammed to a stop outside, so hard it nearly flattened Mrs. Larson's prized tulips. My heart jolted. 3 guys piled out, tactical vests, mirrored shades, yelling HOA compliance enforcement, like they were SWAT busting a meth lab, not a cul-de-sac. I bolted upright, coffee sloshing as they charged our driveway, boots thumping like war drums. They grabbed Emily, my Emily, right off our porch swing, her iced tea splattering the deck. I lunged for the door, pulse hammering, but froze mid-step. She didn't scream, didn't kick. She twisted, locked those hazel eyes on me, eyes I'd drowned in for years, and winked. Slow, deliberate, like a secret handshake. The van roared off, tires smoking, and I stood there, gut churning, brain screaming. What the hell just happened? Willow Creek's that postcard suburb where folks feud over fence heights and throw barbecues with military-grade checklists. Our HOA, ruled by Karen. Yep, the Karen, lords over us like she's dictator of a pastel dystopia. She once fined us $50 because our golden retriever, Max, left a tennis ball on the porch, unsightly debris, she called it. Another time, she mailed a letter demanding we mute our happiness at a 4th of July cookout. Our laughter was disruptive. I'd groan. But Emily? She'd sip her tea, prune her petunias, and shrug. Jake, she's harmless, she'd say, fixing our smart thermostat in 2 minutes flat. Harmless? I bought that lie until now. My hand shook as I grabbed the phone, nearly tripping over Max, who was pacing and whimpering like he sensed the chaos. I dialed 911, voice cracking, words spilling out. Black van. Fake cops. They took my wife. Dispatcher Tom stayed cool as ice, but when I blurted HOA enforcement, his tone sliced through the static. Sir, he said, sharp and low, we've got reports of impersonators in your area. Stay where you are. Don't touch a thing. Cops are rolling. Impersonators? My stomach flipped like a bad pancake. What kind of HOA hires thugs to snatch people over a crooked mailbox? I hung up, sweat dripping, Emily's wink replaying like a glitchy gif. That wasn't fear. That was intent. She'd known they were coming. Meanwhile, across town at the Willow Creek Community Center, Karen was mid-tirade at her standards review. Picture her, lavender blouse ironed to death, waving her binder like a scepter, harping about unapproved bird baths to a room of glazed-over neighbors. None of them, least of all me, had a clue she wasn't just a nosy tyrant. She was a wolf in a cardigan, and Emily had her number. Back home, I was unraveling, pacing like a caged animal, Max trailing me with those big, worried eyes. Then I saw it, a red light flashing on our smart home hub, pulsing like a distress signal. Not the usual Wi-Fi's out nonsense. The screen blared, Willow protocol activated. My breath caught. What the? I jabbed it, fingers trembling, and whoosh, a panel slid open behind the bookshelf, slick as a spy movie. I yelped, staggering back, as a steel case gleamed inside, no lock, just begging me to open it. My chest thumped like a bass line. Inside, a laptop, a burner phone, and an envelope with Jake and Emily's neat cursive. My throat tightened. I ripped it open, hard in overdrive. Jake, it started. If you're reading this, I've been taken. Don't spiral. This is the plan. I'm CIA, Han. Retired, kinda. Willow Creek's tangled in something massive, and the HOA's dirty. Trust no one, especially Karen. I'll explain soon. Love, M. The letter hit the floor like a dropped mic. CIA? My Emily, the woman who cried at ASBCA ads and baked peach cobbler that could end wars? My legs buckled. The HOA wasn't just petty, it was crooked. I lunged for the laptop, flipped it open, and it hummed to life, no password, just my wide-eyed mug staring back through some freaky face scan. A file flashed up. Operation HOA Cleanup. Maps of our streets glowed with red dots, Grainy clips rolled, Karen huddled with shady suits and back lots, and dossiers piled high. Karen's was a brick. Bank transfers to nowhere, trips to sketchy cities, invoices for compliance teams that didn't exist. This wasn't about lawn gnomes. This was huge. My phone buzzed sharp, insistent. A text. Jake, it's Mallory. Emily's safe. We're tracking her. Stay put. My mouth went dry. Mallory? Who? Before I could type, a shadow slid across the window. I peeked out, and there she was, Karen, on my lawn, hands folded, smiling like a predator sizing up dinner. Two goons loomed behind her, one with a ketchup smear on his vest like he'd fumbled a burger run. Jake, she chirped, voice sticky sweet and lethal. We need to discuss Emily's violations. My blood turned to slush. She wasn't here to talk. She was here to push. And I was a deer in the headlights of a game I didn't even know I was playing. Emily, what have you pulled me into? I was still reeling, clutching Emily's CIA letter like it was a lifeline, when Karen's syrupy voice slithered through the window again. Jake, don't be shy, let's chat. She purred, her goons shifting behind her like discount bouncers. My stomach twisted into knots. This wasn't about a crooked flower pot. This was war, and I was a sitting duck with a smart hub flashing secrets. I forced a grin, waved like a clueless sitcom dad, and slammed the blinds shut, heart pounding so loud I swore Max could hear it. That's when the burner phone buzzed, a voice on the line. Jake, it's Mallory. Don't engage her. Help's coming. Help? From who? I peeked out again, and Karen was gone, but the air felt heavy, like the whole neighborhood was holding its breath. You're still here, right? Good, because this is where it gets nuts. Ever had a neighbor who turned out to be more than they seemed? Tell me in the comments. I need to know I'm not alone in this madness. Subscribe if you're hooked, because Willow Creek's about to blow wide open. I locked every door, hands shaking, Max growling low like he sensed the storm brewing. The laptop glowed on the coffee table, Operation HOA cleanup, staring back at me like a dare. I scrolled, adrenaline surging, maps of Willow Creek with red pins on every corner, grainy clips of Karen slipping envelopes to guys in suits at the gas station on Route 12. Her dossier was a gut punch. Real name Karina Voss, ex-con artist turned HOA dictator, funneling cash through fake fines to offshore accounts. Our $50 for Max's tennis ball? That was funding some shady operation in the Caymans. I felt sick, like I'd been mugged by my own neighborhood. Across the street, old Mr. Thompson was trimming his hedges, clippers snipping in rhythm. Normal, right? Except now every snip felt like a signal, every glance a code. Was he in on this? Was anyone? I shook it off, refocused on the laptop. A new file blinked, contingency plan, suburban watch. I clicked, and a live satellite feed popped up, Willow Creek from above, the black van weaving down a back road near the community clubhouse. My breath hitched. Emily was in there, and I was stuck here, useless, drowning in secrets she'd kept from me for years. How did she sleep next to me, giggling at dumb rom-coms, knowing this? The burner buzzed again. Jake, it's Mallory, Emily's unit. She's fine, planted a tracker in her sandal. We're closing in. My voice cracked as I snapped. Who are you? What's the HOA doing kidnapping people? A pause, then her tone darkened. Karen's not just HOA. She's a front, money laundering, influence peddling, maybe worse. Emily volunteered to go under here. This whole place is a chessboard. I choked on my own spit. A chessboard? We'd hosted taco nights in this house. Mallory cut in. Stay put. Backup sneer. And Jake, don't let Karen back in. The line went dead. I paced, sweat soaking my shirt, Max whining at my heels. That's when I heard it, a soft tap at the back door. My heart leapt into my throat. Karen again? I grabbed a golf club, dumb, but it's what I had, and crept to the window. It wasn't Karen. It was Mrs. Rivera, our quiet neighbor who baked muffins nobody ate because they tasted like cardboard. She waved, urgent, her eyes darting like a hunted deer. Against every instinct screaming no, I cracked the door. Jake, she hissed, get in my house. Now. They're circling again. They? My skin prickled. I grabbed the burner and followed, Max trotting behind, into her dim living room that smelled like mothballs and regret. Meanwhile, at the clubhouse, Karen was pacing the basement. Emily's intel had pegged it as her HQ, disguised as a storm shelter upgrade. She barked orders at her goons, oblivious to the sandal tracker blinking silently under the table. Above ground, the neighborhood hummed, kids on scooters, sprinklers hissing, none of them knowing the war bubbling beneath their feet. Mrs. Rivera shut her blinds with a snap, then turned to me, voice low. I'm with Emily's team. Call me Sage, codename. Don't ask. My jaw dropped. Cardboard muffin lady with CIA? She smirked, reading my face. Yeah, I get that a lot. Emily knew they'd pull this stunt. When they grabbed her, we flipped the switch, you're our chaos factor. Chaos factor? I felt more like a clueless pawn. She yanked open a cabinet, no muffins, just screens showing live feeds of Willow Creek, radios crackling, a drawer labeled Operation Lawn Wars. My head spun. She trusted you to stay unpredictable, Sage said, tossing me a flash drive. This disables their security grid. You're hitting the clubhouse shed tonight. I stared at the drive, a tiny black key to a world I didn't want. Me? I'm no spy. I sell car insurance. Sage grinned, sharp. Exactly. They'll never see you coming. My stomach flipped, but something else sparked anger. Emily had lied, sure, but she was out there, fighting, while I'd been blind. I gripped the drive. Fine. What's the play? Sage's eyes gleamed. Wait for dusk. Karen's goons take a snack break around 7, tacos, always tacos. You sneak in, plug this in, get out. We'll handle the rest. Back at the house, I slipped inside, nerves electric, the golf club still in hand. The laptop pinged, a new message from Mallory. Extractions on. Don't screw this up, Jake. No pressure, right? I glanced out front, and there was Karen again, strolling the block with her binder, her goons trailing like lost puppies, one still sporting that ketchup stain. She didn't knock this time, just stared at my house, her smile a razor's edge. My blood boiled. She thought she'd won. She had no idea I was about to crash her game. Dusk fell slow, the sky bruising purple. I stood at the back door, flash drive burning a hole in my pocket, Max nudging my leg like he wanted in on the action. Sage's words echoed, you're the chaos factor. Emily's wink flashed in my mind, calm, fierce, hers. Whatever this was, it wasn't just her fight anymore. It was ours. Dusk settled over Willow Creek like a heavy blanket, the sky bleeding purple as I gripped that flash drive like it was my last lifeline. My heart was a jackhammer, slamming against my ribs, me, Jake Harper, car insurance guy, about to play spy in my own backyard. Karen's goons were out there, probably scarfing tacos, while Emily was stuck in some HOA dungeon, her wink still searing my brain. I couldn't sit still anymore, not with her out there, not with Sage's words ringing, you're the chaos factor. I slipped out the back door, Max whining behind me, and bolted across the alley, every shadow screaming ambush. You're still with me, right? This is where it gets real. Ever had to sneak past a nosy neighbor, or worse? Spill it in the comments. I'm dying to know. Subscribe if you're sweating as much as I was, because this night's about to flip Willow Creek upside down. The shed loomed ahead, a rusty shack behind the clubhouse Karen's crew had renovated last spring supposedly for lawn gear. But now I knew better. My sneakers crunched gravel, too loud, too clumsy, as I ducked behind a hedge. Sweat stung my eyes. Sage said the goons took a 7 p.m. taco break clockwork, like they'd starve without their greasy fix. I checked my watch, 6:58. 2 minutes. My throat was sandpaper, but Emily's calm, steely face flashed in my head, years of her fixing our Wi-Fi, laughing at my dumb jokes, hiding this. Anger flared, hot and sharp. She trusted me for this. I wasn't letting her down. Across the neighborhood, Sage hunched over her screens, muttering into a radio. He's moving. Don't spook him. Her feed showed Karen strolling the block, binder in hand, oblivious to the storm brewing. At the clubhouse, Emily sat in the basement, cool as ever, slipping a hairpin from her bun, eyeing the lock on her cuffs. Her tracker blinked steady under the table, counting down to chaos. I reached the shed, chest heaving, and crouched low. Voices drifted over, goons joking about extra guac, their boots scuffing as they wandered off. Now, the door was locked, a cheap padlock glinting in the dusk. My hand shook, then I remembered Emily, tipsy on wine one night, teaching me to pick locks with a bobby pin. Romantic. Huh? She'd giggled. Romantic? More like training. I yanked a paperclip from my pocket, bent it, and fumbled, cursing under my breath until it clicked. The door creaked open, and I slipped inside, pulse roaring. The shed stank of oil and deceit. I scanned it, lawnmower, rakes, then, there, a panel under a tarp, blinking green like a smug little snake. Sage's target. I ripped off the cover, jammed the flash drive in, and held my breath. The light flickered, then steadied green to red. Done. My chest loosened for half a second, then boots crunched outside. Too close. I dove behind a crate, hard in my throat, as a goon poked his head in, taco grease on his chin. Huh. He grunted, squinting. I didn't breathe. He shrugged, lumbered off, and I exhaled, knees jelly. I'd done it. Emily's team was blind no more. Back at Sage's, her screens flared, security grid down. She smirked, radio crackling. Nice, Jake. Extractions a go. At the clubhouse, Emily twisted her hairpin, cuffs clinking free. She stood, stretched, and muttered, "Took you long enough, babe." Her goons didn't notice, too busy arguing over salsa stains. I slipped out, adrenaline buzzing, sprinting back through the alley like a kid dodging curfew. The neighborhood glowed, porch lights, sprinklers hissing like nothing was wrong. But everything was. I burst into Sage's, gasping, "It's done." She nodded, sharp. "Good. Now we wait." Wait? My gut churned. For what? She handed me a coffee, black, bitter, and pointed to a screen. The clubhouse feed flickered. Karen storming in, barking at her crew, clueless her system was toast. For that, Sage said. Emily's move. Hours crawled by, my nerves fraying. Sage's radios hummed, codes I didn't get, voices I didn't know. Then the burner buzzed, and my heart leapt. Emily's voice, low and fierce. "Jake, you nailed it. They're blind now. Extractions soon. Hang tight." And, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I'll fix this." Static cut her off. I stared at the phone, chest tight, relief, rage, love crashing together. She was alive. She was sorry. But we weren't out yet. Meanwhile, Karen paced the clubhouse, slamming her binder on a table. "Find out why the cameras are down," she snapped, her goons scrambling. She didn't know her empire was crumbling, didn't know I'd just lit the fuse. Back at Sage's, I gripped the coffee, hands trembling. "What now?" I croaked. Sage's eyes glinted. "Now we crash her party. Tomorrow's the HOA budget meeting, Karen's big show. We'll be there, front row. You ready?" "Ready?" I felt like a rag doll in a tornado, but Emily's voice echoed, "I'll fix this." I nodded, fire sparking. "Yeah, let's end this." Night deepened, Willow Creek quiet except for crickets and my racing thoughts. Sage prepped gear fake IDs, a recorder disguised as a pin, while I replayed Emily's message. Sorry? After years of taco nights, lazy Sundays, she'd hid this, and I'd missed it. But that wink, that trust she'd picked me for this chaos. I wasn't just her husband anymore. I was her partner in this insane fight. Across the street, Mr. Thompson's clippers went silent. He glanced my way, nodded once, and vanished inside. Another player? My skin crawled. Sage caught my look. "Don't ask," she said, smirking. "You'll meet the team soon." Team? I swallowed hard. Willow Creek wasn't a suburb anymore. It was a battlefield, and I just stormed the front line. The morning sun blazed over Willow Creek, mocking me with its cheer as I stood in Sage's garage, hands sweaty, staring at a fake HOA agenda she'd slapped into my grip. Last night I'd crippled Karen's security grid, and now we were crashing her budget meeting, me, a car insurance schlub turned reluctant spy, about to face the queen of petty tyranny. Emily was out there, free from her cuffs, her voice still echoing in my head. "I'll fix this." My chest burned. Love, fury, fear all tangled up. Sage grinned, tossing me a pin that wasn't a pin. "Recorder." She winked. "Let's make Karen sing." "You're still here? Legends?" "Awesome, because this is the showdown you've been waiting for." Ever been to a meeting that turned into chaos? Drop it in the comments. I need your stories to survive this. Subscribe if you're ready for the fireworks, because Willow Creek's about to ignite. Sage's team piled in. Neighbors I'd waved at 1,000 times, now unmasked as CIA muscle. There was Mr. Evans, the grumpy guy who yelled at kids on his lawn. Ex-Special Forces, apparently. Lisa, the perky dog walker, twirled a flash drive like a baton. Tech was with a mean streak. And Tom, our mailman, who'd been swiping Karen's shady letters for months, flashed a grin that said he'd seen worse. They nodded at me, like I wasn't just the guy who overcooked burgers at block parties. Sage clapped my shoulder. "You're the decoy, Jake. Stir the pot. We'll handle the rest." My stomach flipped. Decoy? I was bait in a shark tank. At the clubhouse, Karen strutted in, pearls gleaming, binder thick as a phone book. The room buzzed, neighbors fidgeting, sipping weak coffee, clueless about the storm brewing. I slid into a front row seat, Lisa beside me, her purse suspiciously heavy. Sage's plan was nuts. I'd stall Karen with fake complaints while Emily's team breached the basement tunnels she'd mapped months ago, pretending to garden. My palms sweated. How'd I miss that? How'd I miss her? Across town, Emily crouched in a drainage ditch, dirt-streaked, leading her crew, quiet, lethal types in landscaper vests. Her tracker was dead now, but she didn't need it. She knew Karen's moves, knew this clubhouse like her own skin. 12 minutes, she muttered, checking her watch. Jake better not choke. The meeting kicked off, Karen droning about fence paint codes and a $15,000 noise control line item. Bull, pure bull. I raised my hand, voice shaky but loud. Karen, why's the basement budget got a $15,000 spike? What's down there surround sound for squirrels? The room tittered. Her smile twitched, eyes narrowing. Community enhancements, she lied, smooth as silk. My pulse raced. I pushed harder. Enhancements? Like the guys who snatched my wife yesterday? Gasps rippled. Karen's face hardened. Game on. Meanwhile, Emily's team pried open a tunnel hatch under the yoga studio, flashlight slicing the dark. She whispered, "Move fast, Jake's buying us time." Above, Karen leaned forward, voice icy. "Jake, you're out of line. This is HOA business." I grinned, reckless now. "Funny, so's money laundering through fake fines, Karina Voss." The room froze. Her mask slipped, just a flicker, but I saw it. Fear. She signaled her goons, two suits posing as note-takers, who tensed, hands dipping to their belts. Lisa nudged me, whispering, 8 minutes. My heart thumped. 8 minutes till what? Then it hit, loud buzzing, lights flickering. Mr. Evans, in the control booth, had flipped some switch, frying the Wi-Fi. Karen snapped, "Meeting's over," and bolted for her papers. I leapt up, blocking the side door. "Leaving already? What about my fine for laughing too loud?" Her eyes blazed, pure venom, but she didn't swing. She couldn't, not with witnesses. Back underground, Emily's crew hit the basement wall, muffled thuds as they breached. She smirked, hearing the chaos above. "That's my guy." Upstairs, Lisa dropped her purse, thud, and a flash of light erupted, blinding white, screams bouncing off the walls. Karen lunged for the exit, but Tom, mailman Tom, jammed the fire door remote, trapping her. Then, bang, a trapdoor on the stage popped open, and Emily rose like a phoenix, dirt-smudged, stun stick in hand. "Miss me, Karen?" she purred, voice steel and fire. My jaw dropped. She was here, and hotter than ever, even covered in muck. Karen snarled, diving for her, but Emily sidestepped, dropping her with a swift jolt and a kick that'd make a ninja jealous. The room erupted, neighbors shrieking, goons flailing as Lisa and Evan zip-tied them. Federal agents, those landscapers, stormed in, badges flashing, and I just stood there, dazed, watching my wife take down an empire. Karen hit the floor, cuffs clicking, her pearls scattering like tears. Emily turned to me, breathless, eyes soft but fierce. "You okay, babe?" I nodded, mute, my world spinning. She'd done it. We'd done it. Sage slipped in, smirking. "Not bad, rookie." The feds hauled Karen out, her glare promising revenge, but she was done. Willow Creek gaped from their windows as black SUVs rolled off, leaving us in stunned silence. That night, Emily and I sat on the porch swing, creaking like always, her hand in mine. "I should have told you," she murmured, voice cracking. I squeezed her fingers, throat tight. "You did, in your way." She laughed, shaky, and it hit me. I wasn't just her husband anymore. I was her partner in this insane, beautiful mess. But as the stars blinked above, I couldn't shake it, Karen's glare, the quiet. This wasn't over. The morning after Karen's takedown, Willow Creek glittered like nothing had happened, kids on scooters, sprinklers hissing, the air thick with barbecue smoke. Emily and I sat on the porch swing, her head on my shoulder, my heart still racing from yesterday's chaos. She'd stormed out of a trapdoor like a superhero, dropped Karen with a stun stick, and smirked at me like it was just another Tuesday. I was proud, mad, dizzy. How'd she hide this CIA life while I burned toast next to her? But before I could ask, a new shadow loomed. Ted, the interim HOA president, strutting up our walk in khakis so crisp they screamed trouble. "You're still riding this wave, right?" "Good, because the plot's thickening fast." Ever had a neighbor who oozed bad vibes? Tell me in the comments. I need backup here. Subscribe if you're hooked, because Willow Creek's not done throwing curveballs. Ted flashed a grin practiced in a mirror, HOA logo stitched over his heart like a gangster's tattoo. "Morning, Jake, Emily," he chirped, clipboard in hand. "Board's restructuring, gotta tighten community standards." His eyes flicked to our porch, too long, too sharp. Emily stiffened, her hand tightening on mine. Standards, she said, cool as ice. Like Karen's. Ted's smile faltered, but he recovered. Oh, no fresh start. Just need to review. Homeowner compliance. Compliance. That word hit like a gut punch. He wasn't new. He was a replacement cog in Karen's machine. Back at Sage's, her screens pinged, a radio burst from Ted's visit, encrypted, not local. She decoded it. Face grim. Private sector. Shell company tied to Karen's mess. They're not quitting Willow Creek. They're doubling down. My stomach sank. Emily sighed, grabbing a lemon from the counter, zesting it like she hadn't just toppled a crime ring. He's a cleaner, she muttered. Here to bury what's left, or us. Us? My pulse spiked. I'd gone from clueless husband to target in 48 hours. That night, Emily called a backyard meeting. No CIA this time, just neighbors. String lights glowed, wired with sensors, she'd always said for ambience, as 20 residents shuffled in, faces tense. Mr. Evans clutched a beer, Lisa twirled her keys, old Mrs. Carter grumbled about her rose bushes. Emily stood tall, voice steady. Karen's gone, but Ted's not legit. The HOA's still rotten. We fight back, or we're back under their thumb, worse. I braced for panic, but they didn't flinch. Mrs. Carter snapped. I knew Ted was fishy, too many teeth in that smile. Laughter rippled, then fire sparked. Mr. Evans growled, they fined me for my flagpole shadow. I'm done. By midnight, we had a plan, not a protest, but a rebellion. Across town, Ted sipped coffee in the clubhouse, flipping through Karen's binder, smirking at highlighted names, ours at the top. His phone buzzed. Neutralize resistance. Secure the grid. He didn't know we were already moving. Next day, Willow Creek transformed. Mr. Evans planted hedges, visual shields, not decor. Lisa rerouted the clubhouse Wi-Fi to loop fake meeting footage. Kids turned walkie-talkies into a lookout network, giggling like it was a game. Sage slipped me infrared sensors disguised as garden lights, winking. Flamingo upgrades next time. I laughed, but my chest tightened. Emily's calm was contagious, but this was war disguised as a block party. Grills smoked, music blared, neighbors waved, but every move was calculated. Ted's rain station ceremony came fast, embossed invites, like he was crowning himself king. We are SVP'd, yes, all part of the trap. The clubhouse buzzed that day, tables of food, kids chasing balloons, everyone in their Sunday best. But purses hid recorders, jackets concealed mics. Emily rigged lanterns with UV powder, marking anyone who passed. I dusted the podium handles with glow ink, grinning. Spy stuff's fun when it's not your wife's secret. She elbowed me, smirking. You're catching on. Ted took the stage, smarmy in his polo, preaching unity and order. Mid-speech, he tapped a button under the podium, his signal. Only it backfired. Emily's hot mic blared his own voice, recorded days ago. Move on the targets if they resist. The crowd froze. Ted stammered, prank. But Mrs. Carter, bless her, dumped lemonade on his loafers. Neighbors swarmed, phones out, shouting questions. Ted bolted, tripping through a flamingo line. Sage's sensors triggered dye canisters, coating him pink. He flailed, glowing under UV, a neon mess as his SUV peeled out, driver half gone before he leapt in. Laughter erupted, fireworks lit the sky. Sage slapped my back. You're a natural, Jake. Emily pulled me close, eyes shining. We did it. You did it. My heart swelled, pride, relief, but Ted's retreat gnawed at me. He'd be back. For now, though, Willow Creek was ours. The pink dye from Ted's flamingo fiasco still stained the clubhouse steps a week later, glowing faintly under moonlight like a badge of Willow Creek's defiance. Emily and I rocked on our porch swing, her lemon tea steaming, my beer sweating, our first quiet night since this madness started. Karen was gone, Ted humiliated, the neighborhood buzzing with a weird mix of pride and disbelief. Kids pedaled by, neighbors waved, and Max snoozed at our feet. I'd gone from clueless Jake to the guy who helped topple an HOA crime ring, thanks to my wife, the secret CIA badass I'd underestimated for years. But as fireflies blinked, a moving truck rumbled into the cul-de-sac, and my gut whispered, it's not over. You made it to the end, champs. I'm blown away. Did this twisty ride keep you guessing? Drop your wildest HOA tales in the comments. I'm hooked on your stories now. Subscribe if you love this chaos, because Willow Creek's got more secrets up its sleeve, and I'll need you for the next round. Karen's trial kicked off in nearby Maplewood. Fraud, conspiracy, laundering through fake lawn fees. Courtroom packed, headlines screamed, and HOA president statewide gawked as her empire crumbled. Video of her barking orders to goons sealed it. She dodged clipboards in a cushy cell for years. Emily got a quiet promotion, new badge in our mailbox, no fanfare. Field oversight now, she said, stashing a briefcase behind the towels like it was nothing. I smirked. Soft landing. She grinned. Sly. More like a launch pad. That's my girl, always 10 steps ahead. Ted's exit left the HOA gutted, and guess who they tapped to replace him? Me. I laughed, me, HOA president, but neighbors shoved it on me after I'd faced down Karen and Ted. You've got guts, Jake. Mr. Evans roared at the vote. I took it, but rewrote the charter. No private goons, no flamingo traps, just sanity. First act? Liberation Day, gnomes, disco balls, a flamingo trophy for the tackiest yard. No fines, just freedom. Emily watched, pride in her eyes, sipping tea like she hadn't orchestrated it all from her garden. Across the street, Sage, ex-CIA muffin lady, waved from her porch, now sand screens. Tom delivered mail with a knowing nod. Lisa walked her dogs, smirking. Our crew. A letter arrived that week, plain envelope, no sender, Willow Creek's neutral ground now. Emily read it, shrugged. Means they're backing off for now. I didn't buy it. Neutral? After this? My skin prickled, but she squeezed my hand. We've got this, babe. Then that truck rolled in Saturday, sun blazing. It stopped 2 doors down, where Karen's lackey Dave had vanished mid-scandal. A woman stepped out, tall, mirrored shades, trench coat in July. She scanned the block like a hawk, barking orders in a tongue I didn't catch. Emily froze, mid-zest. Belarusian, she muttered. My eyebrow shot up. Coincidence. She smirked, grabbed a lime. Maybe she's just into cold weather chic. I snorted. Flamingos ready? She laughed sharp, bright. Not yet. Keep the porch cam on. That night, we sat under the stars, swing creaking, Max snoring. The new neighbor's lights flickered, too deliberate, too staged. Emily leaned in, voice soft. We're a team now, Jake. Whatever comes. My chest swelled, fear, sure, but mostly fire. I'd stumbled into this, her world of covert games and suburban stakes, but I'd stayed. Fought. Won. Karen's glare, Ted's dye-soaked sprint, Emily's wink, they'd forged us into something unbreakable. Willow Creek looked the same, kids, grills, tacky gnomes, but it wasn't. Every wave hit a knowing glance, every lawn a quiet victory. We'd turned a clipboard cult into a community, armed with sprinklers and grit. The new woman watched from her window, shades glinting. Emily sipped her tea, calm as ever. She moves, we're ready, she said. I nodded, beer cold in my hand. Ready? Hell yes. Mess with our porch, and you'd get the whole damn neighborhood. As the moon rose, fireworks popped, leftover from Liberation Day, lighting the sky in jagged bursts. Sage strolled by, tossing us cookies, edible this time. Nice work, rookies, she called. I grinned. Rookie? Maybe once. Now I was Jake Harper, husband, rebel, keeper of the flamingo throne. Emily laced her fingers through mine, her ring catching the light. Love you, she whispered. Always, I shot back. The truck's shadow lingered. But tonight? Tonight, we own this porch, and whatever came next, we'd face it swinging. Give it a like if you think the HOA got a fair punishment. Or comment on what you would do.